Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host. And okay, strap on your seatbelts because we have a martial arts superstar, spectacular actor. We have Harley Wallen here. He is an American Swedish actor, writer, producer, director. He has his own production company. I'm super thrilled to interview him. Let's give him a super warm welcome all the way to the East Coast. Hey, Harley, how are you?
Hey AJ, I am fantastic. Thank you for having me. I've been excited about this because I like to prepare a little bit. So I check out the interviews and I'm like, ooh, she asks good, insightful questions. And she seems like super genuine about the love she has for film. And that makes us kindred souls.
I really do. Thank you so much for that. That's so nice of you to say. I really do
Yeah.
care about my performers and our performers, excuse me, I'm sorry, our performers and the entertainment industry. You know, you're family to me because you are out there on the front lines. You're making film productions, you're connecting with people and making the world a better place creatively. And so I so am thankful to you. I couldn't do this without you, Harley. People like you, wonderful special VIPs like you, who I love to showcase and highlight and promote. So let's get into it. And thank you so much for that. I'm so happy. You've made me very happy. Harley, you are a I'm going to just give a little bio for all your fans
Yeah.
out there and to catch them up. Um, you're a multi-winning filmmaker. You're Swedish American. I love that. You're an actor, writer, and director. You're best known for Betrayed, Bennett's Song, and Moving Parts. That was a few years ago. We're going to talk about your most recent ones as well. You're also the CEO and founder of your own production company called Painted Creek Productions. I love that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that as well. And I'm going to tell you about my favorites of your movies in a minute. But I want to talk to you. You mentioned a moment ago about coming from Sweden, and talk to us about, share us how different it is from being in Sweden and in America. Take it away, Harley.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and thanks so much for having me. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in. I take no one for granted because this is the beautiful thing with art is the sharing of it all. Because you do all this internal when you're creating it, so then to get to be here and share it is awesome. Yeah, so when I lived in Sweden, there wasn't really an indie scene. I was lucky enough to get on a syndicated TV show, and I did one season of Solstolarna, which was really cool. And I came on to be a breakdancer, which was funny enough because it was a cabaret style show like the Osmonds, where singing and dancing. We had Samantha Fox and what's her name? With a lot of musical guests, especially on the show, and the throwaway lines, one, two liners, they would give to us dancers if we were interested. So I started hanging out with the actors and I saw their process and I was like, oh my God, I had no clue acting was all this. So it made me kind of fall in love with it. I went and got an acting coach, started working on it. Um, Sweden's small country, only so many people speak your language, so you can't really export a product very well, which is why the Skarsgårds and all them come here. So I followed in their footsteps and came here because you can. This is still the land of opportunities, and I love that.
Yes, it is. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So I want to switch up and tell you my favorite movie of yours is Bennett's Song. And I want to tell you why. I love the message of acceptance and love. You're also co-starring with Tara Reid as the
Mhm.
social worker. I love that. This was a film you made 6 years ago, but it's a wonderful story and
Yeah.
it touches people's hearts because we all want to be accepted. We all want love. And this is a powerful movie. Is that, I mean, I love this great social message. You know that I was going to jump on this right away and tell you, right? So
Well,
talk to me about
yeah.
Bennett's
So
Song.
the Benesong movies, partner that we worked with back then, she had been a part of the first few movies that I'd made, And her daughter, very, very talented actor, and herself, good makeup artist, good producer, good at a lot of things. And she says, I have this story that I kind of can't get over. I really want to make this. And I'm like, I'd be happy to help you with it. So we talked about it all and we eventually ended up making it. So shout out to Nancy Oswine, who wrote that story. Just to me, wholesome, good morals, good values, good everything. And in all honesty, being on a set like that gave me more empathy for the people that kind of fall in love with the people they work with, because we spent months together and we felt a little bit like a family at the end of it. It was, the kids still have on Snapchat a group. They still talk. All those kids from the film are all still friends. They're all still talking, and it's very, very cool. It's a special thing.
Isn't that something? I love hearing that because the good energy continues on, Harley, and that's what
Mhm.
it's about. I love that you mentioned the good energy on set and that you were a
Mhm.
family. And these are the moments in life that make film history and movie making so they resonate so much with our heart. They're
Yeah,
great memories, you know.
yeah.
And so I thank you for sharing that. I love that so much. And Harley, I want to mention Betrayed. It is such an incredible movie, very powerful film, also with a strong social message, where these are important topics to shed light to help people understand, have more understanding in the world. Tell us
Mhm.
about Betrayed. Did you also have that same camaraderie on there, or was it a little bit more intense or different? Share with us a little bit about that.
Very intense. We had people crying on set. It was pretty emotional, but the whole thing started. The church that we go to did a message on human trafficking, and I live in Michigan. So when we did this at the time, Michigan was the third worst state in this country on human trafficking because of the Canada access. You can get people not just in and out of a state, but you can get them in and out of a country, which really limits people's ability to get them. So when I found that out, I felt like I wanted to do something. I don't know how to make a documentary. It's not my skill set. Um, so I thought, you know what? How about if I make a story about what happens to people and we can peek behind the curtain of something uncomfortable. So I interviewed a bunch of police officers, police chiefs, and social workers and therapists, and a ring girl friend of mine uh, from my fighting days. It actually happened to her. Her friend had moved to Florida, a friend from high school, and the girl here, the ring girl, had a breakup with her boyfriend, and her friend was like, "Why don't you come down here and stay with me? I'm blah blah blah." She went down there and disappeared, and nobody thought anything of it. But she was held in a house for several months and been abused the entire time by these awful human beings. And I think it's important for us to be aware. I don't think we should live scared. I don't think that's good, but we should be aware. And awareness to me is power. So I thought I'm going to write a film about this, and I'm going to put it in their backyard, and I'm going to make them uncomfortable.
It's great. Thank you for taking on a woman's story. Thank you so much, Harley. You know, we
Yeah,
need more men like you know, helping us women. You know, we can tell our stories too, but it really helps when the men come
yeah.
behind us and support. So
Mhm.
thank you, Harley. Thank you so, so much.
No, thank you. I mean, I think, I grew up with a lot of women around me. My grandma and my mom and my sister are probably some of the most influential people in my life. I think we're funny enough. If there's something we're behind on here in America, it's the fact that we haven't had a woman president yet. And it's not because we should pick a woman over a man. That's not what it is. But if you think about all the wars that we know of has been started by men for dumb reasons, and we got to break away from these things. And I think a steady hand at the wheel that's not reactive or pump up and puff my chest and ego driven. I think women have a much more subtle way of doing things, a more tactical and cerebral way a lot of the times. Um, and that's from growing up with them. It's been great, and I love taking on and champion these type of things, like we did with Finding Nicole as well.
Yes, yes, I'm going to get to that in a second. Thank you so much. Yes, it's so important, and we appreciate you. And Moving Parts and Ash and Bone, those are a couple of movies, horror movies that you've done recently. I just wanted to touch on it real quick. And if you wanted to talk more about it, those are fascinating because you're really gaining a traction in the horror area. Your techniques, your lighting, your specifics, your technical filming skills are ramping up and raising up and up even more and more. Do you feel that? I wanted to compliment you on those two.
Oh, thank you. I think I'm a forever student. That's how I see myself, and I hope I can uh, keep pulling that off. But I love telling stories, and and every time I make a film, I feel like I figured out a little bit more of how I could be better. So I'm always trying to, how can I say more? How can I make people feel more? How can I, because I remember as a kid, I read Stephen King, which you can probably see in Beneath Us All and in The Devil's Left Hand and Ash and Bone, because I have a lot of mystery, but it's not. I don't do gratuitous violence. I don't do gratuitous gore. So it's a kind of a weird thing because those things are very popular right now. So to not have a bunch of that, I think makes you stick out a little bit. But I'm a sucker for a great story. I'm a sucker for characters that are fun to watch and fun to go on a ride with. Um, so that's that. But with film, um, the lighting and the cinematography is really where I feel like I'm finding myself wanting to excel even more. I watch A24, Neon, those studios that are indie driven studios, and I love what they do. And I feel like I belong with them on a lot of this stuff. And so, yeah, you can probably see some of the inspirations in my films. Beneath Us All was a nod to Stephen King and some of those stories. I was a nod to Nosferatu. You can tell that the vampire was not typical vampire. We didn't even say the word vampire the whole movie. Um, so that's a little thing. We did Ash and Bone, which has become this big kind of cult hit now. Um, and it's almost like The Hills Have Eyes, or one of those films from, what is that, early 2000s, House of Wax, and so on and so forth. And but I do it in a different way. Instead of focusing on the villains and the monsters, I focus on regular people that take place in the story that are being haunted and chased down and whatever by these monsters. So instead of making the story about the Terrifier, I make the story about the person that's being chased by the Terrifier, so
Absolutely.
that it becomes about them instead.
Yes, yes, it's great storytelling, and it harkens back to, and I'm going to compliment you here, Alfred Hitchcock,
Oh, Hitchcock is huge influence for me.
right? So yes, so I love that, and that's the true essence. I mean, his movie is incredible, and yours are
Mhm.
following suit, Harley, in the same
Yeah.
fashion. And I'm going to jump ahead in my notes. Beneath Us All, it's a horror. Please check these both out. All of these films of Harley,
Mhm.
please check out and watch. Beneath Us All, horror, something in the woods. There's a monster or a demon or something, a zombie.
Mhm.
Can't quite put your finger on it in the beginning.
Mhm.
It's a man, actually, an
Mhm.
injured. A woman stumbles upon is Drazel pendant, which is, what is a
Yeah.
Drazel? What is it? It's like a very,
It's
it's
an
like a haunted something or other.
Yeah, it's an Yggdrasil pendant. So in the beginning of the movie, we see these Vikings dealing with this Viking who seems to have been infected with something bad, who kills this young girl, and they essentially lock him into a crypt, and then they take him all the way across the Atlantic and bury him in North America. And then they seal the tomb with an Yggdrasil pendant, and then they head on back to Scandinavia, not knowing that with time, Earth shifts, and all of a sudden, this disgruntled teenager finds the pendant, and then the pendant starts essentially becoming the link between her and the vampire. And again, very original thought on vampires. First of all, I made him a Viking, so he's not from Romania or Transylvania.
Right.
And the main story is not even, it's a metaphorical thing about the vampire being the world. And what we're dealing with is her home situation where she is living with step parents that aren't really good to her. And in the beginning of the film, you probably don't really like them a whole lot. But later on, you realize that even though you didn't like them, they're not the true monsters of the story. The world is the true monster of the story, and in this case, that's happens to be a starving vampire from a few thousand years ago, or a
Right.
thousand years ago.
Also, and interesting story. And also, Harley, you feel for her as the character because she's kind of torn a little bit. She wants
Yeah,
to help. You can see her wanting to
yeah.
help, right? And just fascinating twists and turns. Please check it out. And there's a lot of mystery. I love how you had the darkness and the creepiness of it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like to make people think.
Yes, yes, and you do. And that's what I love about your movies. And also, yes, and the presence continues to gain power, and she must race against time to save her family. So you really, and you play a policeman, Donovan,
Yeah.
in this movie. And Julie, like I said, we feel for Julie,
Mhm.
the character.
Mhm.
You play an outstanding policeman, and you're a great detective. I've noticed throughout your films, you're very commanding. You've got a good presence of authority, and that may have to do with your wonderful martial arts background, which we might talk about. And was that fun to play the policeman, Donovan, in Beneath Us All?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And funny enough, I based that character on the sheriff in Stranger Things. So that's why he had a bit of an aloofness about him,
Okay.
uh, where he was kind of, the world kind of happened, but mostly it happened in his head, because he was a little bit, yeah, that guy. So I thought it was a lot of fun. So I based my character a lot on him.
Wonderful portrayal, because I can see when you mention that now, that is great. Let's talk a little bit about, let's switch over to Finding Nicole. I wanted to ask you your most recent Finding Nicole. Tell us about what it's about. It's a bit about domestic violence, in fact, a lot
Yeah,
about it. And
yeah.
was there anything you learned during the research of this movie about domestic violence that surprised you? You can watch this on Amazon and Apple TV, fans out there. So go ahead, take it away, Harley.
So this film was a long journey. So it started, first of all, my lawyer, who's since passed, Bill DeBreath. So I'm going to give him a shout out. He connected me with Nicole, the real person behind the story. This is a true story. So this case was highly publicized. There was an episode on Inside Evil with Chris Cuomo on her case, and this guy was just terrifying monster, and made her life absolutely miserable. And when we met, she brought all the police reports and her journals and everything else for us to make a movie. And I remember looking at this going, I have enough for like 5 seasons of a TV series here. And I had to figure out a way to trim this down to, a 90-minute movie that'll be able to make the point. So the only thing I could figure out that would do that was to shoot it with dual arcs. One that takes place today, which is in the courtroom and her current life, overlaying that each time she's on the stands, we trigger a flashback to her real, like, so we see the craziness as it unfolds on a dual timeline basis. But it was a wild ride, and what I think surprised me the most is how much this happens, and I don't know how we have become okay with this, because if we're not doing more than what we're doing, then we have become okay with it, and that's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable that people are losing daughters and sisters and mothers, because and then it's not just that, they're men now too, which is even crazier. When we made the film, I think the stats were 1 in 8 men, and I believe it's 1 in 6 now, and it was 1 in 3 women will in their lifetime be assaulted by an intimate lover. And since COVID, I am hearing that we're closer to half of all women in this country. And that it can't be, we can't accept that. We're actually right now in uh, early pre-production for our next true story, which is also centered around domestic violence. And I should say this, when they presented this to me, it was just as a filmmaker.
Mm.
And the baggage on my back is that I have been quietly going around with my childhood, not telling anyone, growing up in a household of domestic violence myself,
Oh,
which gave me a chance to speak on a subject that I've avoided my whole life, and it feels very good to say something.
yeah.
And it is, this is the real pandemic that we have to address. This is big.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Harley, for being so transparent and open about that. And because this resonated deeply for you, because you experienced it. And yeah, it's 2025, right, Harley? It's
Yeah.
2025, and it's time. It's wake up, let's be kind, and stop doing violence does nothing. It absolutely, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
So if you want to really do good in the world, then just cut it out. And if you
Yeah.
can't, then please go get help. Please,
Yes.
please go
Well,
get help, and please yeah, go ahead, Harley.
I was going to say, one of the things that I admire so much about Nicole, which is why she's a good friend of mine at this point, um, even after everything that happened, I mean, she should have been dead several times over, and somehow is still around. And she goes to high schools and she talks about red flags. And at the end of these sessions, there's always been a bunch of girls coming up going, I don't know, maybe my boyfriend has some of these traits. And they have these conversations. Lately, she's been walking in and having conversations. And this is one of the things that I love about the younger men of today, that I think we were too tough and wouldn't have been vulnerable enough to that. But they're coming up saying, hey, I see some of these things in me. What can I do? I mean, talk about, that's somebody who I think will be well. I think that's somebody who has not acted on anything, done anything bad, and they just see. I am very jealous. I feel like I'm probably kind of controlling. I feel like I'm, whatever these things are, insecure, all those things, and then they say, I need help. And I love that, because that means somebody's daughter is safe now
Yes,
because of
yes,
that.
absolutely, Harley. I love what you said, and thank you. And saying help is one of the strongest things you can do. It's the
Amen.
strongest, yeah, anyone can ever do. And so, yes, please remember that we're all here learning. This is life, for
We
us.
didn't get a book. Did you get a book? Like
Exactly.
that tells you what to do? I didn't. We're all
I didn't,
figuring it out, right?
I'm still looking for it. I'm still searching
Yes.
for it.
Instruction manual. I want one. Oh,
That's
and I
what
want an easy button. I want both of those things.
too. We all want that. Cheers to that. Cheers to you, Harley, on that. And for all that you help, spreading those voices of positiveness and healing and contribute to the world. So you just go out there and do the best. Do the
And
best.
I'm gonna finish with this because I brought up my own story. My dad unfortunately lost his family because there was a divorce, and he didn't really have contact with us for a bit, but he did the hard work. And my mom just passed 6 months ago, which breaks my heart. And I almost felt parentless to some degree, but because of what my dad has done with working on himself and changing even in his old days, I have a dad still, which is pretty cool to have, and to get him back. So if you think that there's no hope for you because it's gone too far, it hasn't. You can still change, you can still do better, and people will come back. People will love you, people will care as soon as you do it back.
Thank you, Harley. That's wonderful. And I'm so sorry for your loss of your mom, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you have reconnected with your dad. You began your journey in martial arts and worked up to a fifth degree. Let me just say that again. Fifth degree. That's no small feat, everybody. Black belt, fifth degree black belt. And that's incredible. How has this discipline that you have achieved and mindset shaped your acting and filmmaking, Harley?
I don't think I will ever know because I only know one way of being me, and that's who I am. But I worked with a lot of people have said something, but Tom Sizemore and John Savage have said the most that it is because of my competitive background in martial arts and my fighting days. I have a fifth degree black belt in judo, but also a first degree in taekwondo and a first degree in jiu-jitsu. And I'm also undefeated in mixed martial arts professionally. I've spent my entire life in martial arts at some level, and I think what it does for you is that it gives you a silent confidence. I don't have to prove to anyone how good I am because I know I have been on the mats and in the ring and in the cage with people that had one objective, and it was to beat me. And I rarely lost. In mixed martial art, I never lost. Um, and, I have probably 400 major competition wins in judo. So I'm inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. So it's a big part of me. I love it, love it, love it. And I think it's fantastic for if you have a kid, especially if because they were saying I might have ADHD and stuff like that when I was a kid. And I think judo for me at the time saved me from all the things that could have gone wrong and helped me find a lot of things that went right.
Wow, wow, what a success story. And that's amazing. Congratulations. And did you
Thank you.
love Bruce Lee? Did you like Bruce Lee?
Yeah, I love Bruce Lee. I think what he's done for martial arts has been incredible. And I think as a philosopher, he's highly underrated.
Yes.
Very, very good philosopher.
Yes, absolutely. And incredible his career in Hollywood and so
Mm.
talented, and then also
Yeah,
his son, just amazing,
Brandon. Yeah,
amazing talent and amazing people. Um,
yeah.
I thank you so much for that. So my next question, Harley, you've starred in 40 films alongside legends like Tom Sizemore, you mentioned just a moment
Mhm.
ago. We mentioned Tara Reid and John Savage.
Mhm.
Those moments were those moments when you realized, oh my gosh, this is it. I belong in this world. This feels right. This is happening. Tell us about your
Mm.
experiences.
That's such a funny thing with belonging there because I think if anyone is going to be completely honest, you go through, everything is cyclical and everything is a little bit of up and down, and you'll have a great performance and you'll be like, I should have gotten nominated. And then you'll have one and you look and you go, oh, what happened? And you'll be saying to yourself, I don't even know if I belong. So I think you're always between those. And I want, if you're listening and you're struggling with that, the only thing that you can do is to just work on, just like we talked about working on yourself as a human being. If you're an actor, if you're a director, if you are maintaining the student within you and you are always seeking to grow and get better, then you belong. I don't care if you've worked for 6 weeks or 6 years or 6 decades. You know, you're Anthony Hopkins, or if you're an acting. I just saw a guy named Tristan Spone, who's an online acting coach. He played number two in Stranger Things. And I just stumbled across him on YouTube doing acting coaching, and he does big and small stuff. But man, oh man, so talented, works so hard. And it's like, he became somebody when I saw that, like, I want to work with that guy. I want to work with that guy because he's dedicated. He really, really wants this. He's humble. He's a hard worker. Um, Absolutely work on your craft and your doors will open. Don't get comfortable. Don't think that you have arrived. None of us will ever arrive. Life's a journey. So
That's
you're
great.
always on your way somewhere from somewhere.
That is such great advice, such great advice. And I take that to heart. Thank you, Harley. And speaking of dedicated and hardworking people, I want to give a shout out to Joseph Williamson,
It's the
who
best.
referred you to me. I want to say thank you, Joseph. And he works for what company, Harley? Bank something?
So it's the Williamson Management Company. He is unbelievable. He's a co-producer with us. He helps with publicity. He's a great conversation. Whenever I'm stuck, he's the first person I call. Me and my wife talk most things through, but yeah, I mean, he is. We talk every day on the phone. The guy's just an incredible worker. I always put my work ethics up against just about anyone. I love, Matt Damon said that a long time ago. He said, there are a lot of people out there, they may be as talented or more talented than me, but I'll outwork everybody. I'm the same way. And I'll tell you one thing, Joe's the same way. And funny enough, he has another client named Dustin Ferguson who's just like us. He's another very, very hard worker who's just always pushing, always grinding. So I think we've found ourselves a little mini team inside. But yeah, shout out to Joe Williamson. I don't know what I'd do without you, man.
I love that. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, Harley, for that. And Joseph Williamson, he is from FilmBank Entertainment, FilmBank Entertainment, and University of Westminster, Bristol, England, United Kingdom. What a nice guy. And you can
Yeah.
connect with him on LinkedIn. He's got, I think, his own website. It's really important to meet good people, isn't it? When you meet
Mhm.
good people, you want to work with them, collaborate with them, of
Yeah.
course. And so I'm so thrilled that you found nice people like Joseph.
Yeah.
And thanks again, Joseph. And
Yeah.
yeah, so okay, my next question, Harley, is
Yeah.
many actors who have a martial arts background like yourself
Mhm.
are typecast in, like Vin Diesel, in action heavy roles. So how
Yeah.
have you managed to break the mold? Because you are not typecast into any one specific category. You are um, all over with different characters. And go ahead,
Yeah.
talk to us.
Yeah. So that was actually very intentional. I was fearful that I would end up getting into doing that and that it would define me. And I've always loved playing all kinds of roles. Like when we were talking earlier, in Bennett's song, I play the dad of 7 kids, and I had a blast playing that role. And I actually play a fighter in that film, which is funny because when Nancy wrote it, she kind of based the character a little bit on me, which the trick was to figure out where does Cole end and where does Harley begin, because we were overlapping as human beings a lot. But yeah, so I really tried hard to play all these other characters. I played in Betrayed, a despicable Russian mobster who was trafficking young girls. But I wanted that guy to be somebody you didn't like. And I know I can lean into a character
You
and I
nailed
can
it.
make it. Thank you. Yeah, no, I know I can make people not like me on screen. I think it's funny because some people can only do one or the other. I can definitely play somebody that you really enjoy hanging out with, and you'd like, I'd have a beer with that guy, or I would punch that dude if I saw him.
Right?
I like that though. I love, you know what's so nice about acting for me? It's to me, acting is therapy. I have all of my problems and worries and everything, and then get a role, and now I have to look at life from their perspective. And all of a sudden I'm busy in their world looking at things their way. And then at the end of the film, you kind of get your mind back again, and now you can look at things freshly again because you get to be you, and you can now, you're like clay now, you're a little bit moldable, so it's easier to make some adjustments when you catch something about yourself that you think, you know what, you're wrong about that. So be better.
Be
I'm
better.
big on being better, not bitter.
Oh, I
A
love
big
that.
part of my life,
Better,
yes.
not bitter. I love that. Can you share a behind the scenes moment from working with those Hollywood legends, Tara Reid or Tom Sizemore, that stuck with you? Were there any funny moments or anything that happened on set, or just a fun memory?
Lots of funny moments. Uh, my favorite one out of all of them, Billy Worth from the Lost Boys, probably has my number one favorite moment. So, when you shoot, especially when you're getting shot or whatnot, um, often it's shot in two pieces. So one where you react back when you get shot, which takes you off camera, and then one where you are 6 inches off the ground and you just kind of collapse into it. So you don't actually fall the whole way. Um, Most people don't, or they have crash pads so you can handle that. But we had everything set up for this scene, and Billy was about to get shot, and we're shooting his side, and I tell him, we're shooting, we're up here on you. All you have to do is kind of go back, fall out of screen, and then we'll pick you up on the ground again. So we start, and he goes boom, like a ton of bricks on the ground, and I'm like, whoa, it's cut. You okay? And he's like, yeah, I just really felt it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, maybe we should pull the camera back in case he does that again because it looks amazing. But are you okay, man? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm good. But so I'm like, you don't have to do that anymore. So I told my camera guy, I'm like, be ready to kind of pull back and go with him just in case. So we call action again. He does the same thing again. We do it 3 takes, and he falls to the ground every take. And it went great. It looks fantastic. But I had to go tell him afterwards. I'm like, if you want to do that, let me know. I have crash pads. But that was not what we were planning on. So please don't do that anymore.
Wow.
Now, in film, when you film one side and then you turn and shoot the other, right? So now we're shooting the guy who's shooting him. And he was grabbing another a woman who plays his wife, and he was shooting at Billy. And to give him realism, he starts off by falling again. He's not even on camera. So that was my thing where I said, because you hear so much rumors about these people, big stars, they come out and then they are lazy on the indie sets because it's not the big payday that they're used to. And I'll tell you this, I've never seen somebody do that in my life. They are always out there working and hustling and trying to lay down their best performance, at least the ones I've worked with, all of them all
Wow.
of them. Me and Tara sat and rewrote because she said, I love the story, I love the character, but like I want her to talk like a human, and I just want to tinker with this and blah blah blah. Her and I sat for literally 2 hours to rewrite her scenes so that she would get the words right, so that she would have a genuine performance in it. And I mean, come on, that's not what people think when they think Tara Reid.
Yes, we love Tara Reid.
Scout Taylor Compton was in Eternal Code, and she wears a mask, literally. Big famous Rob Zombie's Halloween lead has a face mask over her face for most of the film. Do you think she complained about it? No. She understood the character and she was really excited to play it. She didn't even say a word. And the funny thing is, I had a bunch of people warned me beforehand saying, she's probably going to want to take her mask off more and blah, 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 because, she's only getting half of her screen time to show her face. No, she was all about the film, not about herself. Um, just really, really impressive. So my experience has been nothing but awesome with the people that come in, that often gets those famous people, they do this, they do that. No, they don't. If you take your craft serious, they will see that, and they're going to want to lay down their very best performance, because that's, I don't care how much money you have. What I want to do every time I get a role is I want to lay down my best performance ever. If I say yes to a film, I want to make my best film ever. So that's just, I think, the wiring of people that love this. And that's what I've seen the most of. But Billy was funny, throwing himself to the ground. I bet you 6, 7 times. Uh,
Wow. Talk
uh,
about preparing for a scene.
yeah.
Right.
Commitment on a whole new level.
Oh, really impressive. Very impressive. And that's incredible. And thank you for sharing that. We love Tara
Yeah.
Reid too. How nice that she
Yes.
took the time to what a supreme professional, consummate professional.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
So
she is awesome.
regarding the whole filmmaking process, Harley, what's been your biggest challenge to overcome? How did you overcome it? What's been the most,
Wow.
is it the stunts? Is it, no, I wouldn't say that, right? Because that's probably easy.
I'd say it's post-production, because when you go into editing, it's about, you make the film several times. So the first time you make is when you write the script. There's a movie in your head that you see when you pen it. So every single time I sit down and write a story, I already have the movie. It's right in here. So then I have to write down how what's each shot.
Storyboards.
This, yeah, I don't do storyboards because I think sometimes they can be handcuffs.
Oh,
So I
okay.
do shot lists
Oh, good.
instead. So that way I'm a little bit more pliable. Uh,
Yes.
and I don't have a problem with storyboards. I just know that it becomes kind of, you do those, and it's hard to kind of see something other than what you're looking for. Um, but I think post production for me is the hardest, because my vision now has to fully align with an editor, but I also have to be open to what if, because every now and then you'll find an editor that sees something you didn't see, and it'll be better than what you came up with. And I love that. That's one of my favorite things,
Love it too.
about it. But often you have to work really, really hard to get your vision across. And you do this the whole time. You do it with a cinematographer. You try to talk to them about inspirations and style and what we're trying to do. And then you talk to the actors to make sure that they understand who they are fully. And then you go to your editor. He now has to take all of that and make your vision blended somehow with their vision. And then the question is, you have to make a sculpture out of this, and it has to come out cohesive. And how do you do that when it's two personalities, two visions, and on an independent budget, you don't have the time to sit around for months and months in post production. So that gets tricky. It's the same thing with music. I work a lot with Kaizad Patel in India. We've gotten this incredible working relationship, but it's, if somebody was to videotape us too when we're going through, we usually do 2 Zoom calls like this, and each call is about 6 hours. That's how we go through and spot the film. But we sit around and make all these crazy sound effects and stuff, because I'm trying to get him to understand what I'm seeing and what I want. And then he tries to mimic my sound effects. And sometimes he'll get on a keyboard, it's hilarious. But that's the hardest part, is how to get somebody fully understand what you're trying to do. Because if you were thinking about it like this, say that you made a painting and then you left and you said for somebody to go finish it. a lot of the times that's going to be real tricky because they're not making the same painting. They're making their painting.
Right,
And the
right.
actors are making their painting, and the
And
cinematographer is making his painting.
yeah,
So we're making 50 films. Unless you can really communicate your vision as well as possible, so they
yes,
go,
right.
"Oh, I see what you're trying to do. I get that."
Yes.
And then all you have to do is tweak stuff. Tarantino says 90% of filmmaking is in casting.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 50%, 60% is, but a big chunk of this is also in post production. That film gets completely remade in post, and depending on where you put your focus, when you tell the story, a lot can change.
Oh my gosh, yes, great answer, great wisdom. Thank you for that, Harley. And you're right. The coloring, the music, and the sound, all very
Yeah,
important. And like you said, the number one nugget, golden nugget, is keep that communication clear. And maybe even if you have to repeat it 2 or 3 times so that
yeah,
someone understands it, because we all have
yeah,
different brains and we
yeah,
all think a little differently. But isn't it great to connect with great people like that? And like you said, sometimes they bring in some new ideas. I'm like, oh
yes.
my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Or
That's the hardest part, is how do you allow that feedback and interaction and collaboration and keep your vision intact? That's the trick. How do you allow enough? It's like you made, like we were just, I just made tacos and they were delicious. But a little bit extra spice, a little bit of different veggies, whatever it may be, and it completely changes what you're eating.
yeah, I love tacos.
Yeah, me too.
What role or project feels the most defining for you, and what legacy do you want to leave in the film industry? So I know this is tough because you've done over 40 films, amazing 40 films, my gosh. And they're all special in their own way. And it's kind of like asking who is your favorite child. I know it's hard, but what role defines you most of all?
So, as far as roles so far, I think the TV series we did, Tale of Tales, I think I really enjoyed playing that guy because he's so far from me. He is a self-absorbed kind of an a-hole who just takes what he wants and just, and it's kind of freeing because I am the person who's cares so much about not stepping on someone's toe, care about not wronging somebody, care about being good and decent, and all those values are so important to me. So it was an odd thing to play, but it was kind of freeing. It's like that little thing in me that
Did you get
you
to
know
swear? Did you get to swear?
yeah, that too. But like, like when somebody cuts me off, I'm not gonna hang on my horn and flip them off and start following them around. I'm gonna let it go because it ain't worth it. But this guy wouldn't. And it was kind of fun to be him because now I could all the frustrations built up over the years, I could let them out with this guy. So it was a lot of fun to play that character, somebody who just doesn't care.
Somebody who doesn't give a rip. He doesn't give a rip
Yes,
about anything.
yes, exactly.
He
Just
doesn't
and completely selfish,
just
completely selfish.
doesn't give a flying fandango.
Correct. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But as far as project, I think a long time ago somebody told me that your favorite project should always be the one you're working on,
Ah,
because I don't
yeah.
think that you can get better if you're still hanging on to something in your
In the
past.
past,
So
you're so right.
so that is me. I think every time I take on a role, every time I say yes to directing a film or whatnot, I always aim to make that the best movie I ever made, the best role I ever played.
Mm.
I really feel like that's the only way you can do it justice.
And that's your legacy. I think that's what you're leaving in the film industry every time you make a great film production, Harley. So it's a job well done, isn't it? And then
Thank
you
you.
can look at it, right, and say, I've
Yeah,
done this and I did it well, and
yeah,
I said yes to all the good opportunities, and I took precautions and looked out for safety for everybody and
yeah,
things like that, right?
yes. Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, all those things are so crucial. And then to top it all off, I think what I really want to do is I always, even if I'm making a horror movie, I want to lace it with something real and personal, and a subject or subplot that matters in the world. And I want to offer maybe a different point of view. So the film that we're in development for now is also a domestic violence story, but it's more similar to the Diddy story. Even though he became physically very violent, I mean, this story is insane. Um, but this story to me is something that just really needs to be said, especially after watching the stuff with the Diddy trial. I think a lot of people don't understand grooming, so they just say, well, it looks like she was kind of in on it, and it looks like they were kind of cool with it, and it's like, yeah, but like imagine that you're a struggling artist and you're trying to break in, and are you not going to try to convince yourself that if I just put up with this and if I just do that, um, and I know that that makes the world way trickier. It's a lot easier to say he's bad, she's good, she's this, he's that. Like we just want to judge and move on. But that's not the real world. The real world is full of gray and complicated things, and we have no easy solution. The dilemma is not close the border or open the border. The dilemma is how can we have a humane interaction with the world, and how
Yeah.
can we all benefit from being good humans and stewardess? We are in the richest country in the history of the world. How can we engage with the world in a way that we are the inspiration for others? I just think that we got to get back to
Yeah.
that, and I think politics, right or left, kind of struggling with that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And that's amazing what you said, Harley. And it's right. We need to be inspirations for each other. And I've enjoyed this so much. And I want to ask you for your next project.
Mhm.
And are you looking for investors? Are you looking for anything particular? Can they contact you on your IMDb or Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I'm probably most active on Instagram, but Facebook and Instagram both work. We are, I think, 70% funded, so we're pretty close.
Wow.
We would love to have somebody come in and take on the last little bit. I am a big fan of people that invest that also want to be a part on some level, because
Yes.
I think the more you buy into the team and everything that we do, I want to make collaborative partners out there. That's what I want. I want
Yeah.
people that are, what's cool about it is you can make a good chunk of money at it while you're, which is a good thing. But you'll also be a part of creating something. If you're an actor or a producer or a writer or cinematographer, and you want to kind of partner up with other people, I always look at Adam Sandler, and I think about, he still has the same people. And if you watch my movies, you can see that I kind of do that too. Uh, a lot of the same people. The kind of the core is somewhat stable, and then we have a lot of influx of people coming and going and being a part of what we do. But I mean, our bench is big. We love collaborating. So if you're interested in taking the journey with us, yeah, we're for sure interested, and reach out. I'd love to talk.
Wonderful, Harley. Thank you so much. You're on Instagram. You have an IMDb profile. Please look and check out Harley's IMDb profile. And then Instagram, like you said, number one, and then Facebook too. And check out and watch all of his movies. They are super great, and he is a super nice guy. Now, I want to say I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much. Our time has gone so fast. Where did it
Wow,
go?
so
But
fast.
so I'm gonna have to start wrapping this show up. I
Yes,
enjoyed this so much,
me
Harley.
too.
But I have a few rapid questions,
Yes,
and then our heart message. So here's the fast and quick rapid questions. Here we go. Okay.
yes.
Your favorite fight scene you filmed?
Oh, me and TJ Storm in Betrayed. Easy.
Okay,
I
okay,
love TJ Storm. Like he's the best.
okay, great. An actor you'd love to spar with or on screen or in the dojo.
Man, the most of my Bruce Lee, I would say, but he's not around for that anymore. But I would have loved to back in the day. So that'll be my answer because that'll be at least the correct in my heart.
Oh, I love it. Isn't that something? Yes, that would have been fun, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh,
I don't know
incredible.
about fun. It would have been a good
Oh,
learning curve.
there you go. There you go. And if you weren't in film, but we need you in film, okay? So stay in film, Harley. If you weren't in film, what would you be doing?
Man, I think if I had the resources, I would have a farm and I would have me and my wife and kids would be saving all the animals that aren't being treated right, and we'd take care of them and give them a great forever home.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That
Yeah.
is so touching and wonderful. Thank you for that. I love that answer so, so much. What is your favorite martial arts film of all time?
I still think it's Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I love, funny enough, out of all the people that I've had on set, the most, I don't want to say starstruck, but I was nervous for some reason, was Mel Novak, who since also has passed. But, he was in a lot of these incredible movies with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. And I remember just watching him as a kid and just loving it. So that was my big thing is having him on, for sure.
Oh, special memories. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we love Bruce Lee and we love Chuck Norris, don't
Yes.
we?
Yes.
Yay, Chuck Norris. Yay. Okay.
Yes.
One word your friends would use to describe you. Let me just guess. Go-getter?
Probably stubborn.
Stubborn, really?
Yeah. I when I know what I want, I know what I want. I'm not gonna, and it's very rare. But when I find something that I want or like, I'm gonna be stubborn about it.
Okay, you're gonna focus on it. That's your goal. That,
Yes.
that movie's gonna get made,
Yes.
and we're gonna do it, and it's
I
gonna be,
will find a way.
and you will find a way. There's always a work.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And what is your heart message for the world, Harley?
Oh my God. I want people to realize that you are on a rock, zipping through time and space. You're made out of stardust. This is your one human experience. And I don't want you to blow it. I don't want you to live this for others. I don't want you to say yes to something you don't want. I don't want you to pursue something that doesn't fulfill you. I want you to do what you love and do it with passion and give it your best. And I think that's where purpose is. And when you find that purpose, it'll be probably affecting you everywhere. You'll be a better dad, a better husband, better friend, because you will truly stand for something that matters. And I think that's super important. And I think that makes the world a better place.
It really, really does. Wonderful wisdom from Harley Wallen. Please follow him and support him. Thank you so much. Get in contact with him for this upcoming
Yeah.
production that sounds super fun. And you can
Shooting
be a
this
part of it as
fall.
well. Yeah, this fall. Okay,
Yeah.
do you know where it's going to be filming?
We're filming this one in Michigan.
Oh,
The
great.
true story did not take place here, but I think we want to make this one because of the fact that we're tackling such a sensitive subject. I want to
Yes.
keep it close to home. I want to have actors and actresses that I really trust,
Mhm.
because we're going to be dancing a little close to the edge, and I want to make sure that we have the time to do it right. But
Yes.
yeah, please come join us on a crazy, amazing journey this November, December.
Thank you so much, Harley, for your wonderful time today and your presence. And I wish you all the very best and many blessings to you and your family. And until next time, au revoir.
Thank you, AJ.